Alright, video number 4 for my channel. You guys read the comments, it talked about how flatbed does not get as many miles as dry van or refrigerated. And that, people like to say, miles is how you get paid, which it is. You get X number of cents per mile times that, how many miles you drive for that week. That's going to be your paycheck before taxes. Alright? Now, this video is going to be about how to manage your time. It's not going to be long because I'm on my 30-minute break right now and I've already burned about 10 minutes of it. So this video will probably be about maybe 10-15 minutes at the most. Talk about managing your time. And in my first video I talked about how I'm able to drive 3,200, 3,500 miles a week. And I'm sure there are people out there at some point, like I said, who are going to say, well, that's a lot of miles. How do you hit that many miles? That's not possible. You can't do that. All kind of comments just because they're not doing it. And we're going to talk about time management. First of all, we need to understand, you're going to come into truck driving, you're going to hear about the 70 hours, 11 hours, 14-hour rules, blah, blah, blah. To understand how time works, you need to break each one of those down. We'll start with the 70-hour and we'll go from there. 70 hours is how much time you have to work. Basically any time you're dealing with driving the truck, being on duty, anytime you're doing something work related, you need to be on duty to while doing it, and it comes out of your 70-hour. Basically, you have 70 hours of working time in an 8-day span. Now, that's how that works. 70 hours of combined working, driving, on duty, fueling, anything that involves you actually working, not involving being on a break, is coming out of your 70-hour time, and that's in a rolling 8-day period. Now, we'll go to the next part. The 11 hours. 11 hours is how many hours you're able to actually drive in a given day without having a 10-hour break. That means is, let's say you start driving. I started driving at 6 o'clock this morning. Today's going to be one of my days where I'm just driving all day long. So I started driving at 6 o'clock this morning. 11 hours from 6 o'clock is when I should be done driving for the day, or however long I decide to drive for that day. And that does not include your 30-minute break. So you have to also need to take a 30-minute break within the first 8 hours of the shift, but I'll get to that in a second. So essentially, you'll wake up that morning, like I did today, get my pre-trip, and I begin driving. I'll drive. Let's say I'll drive for 7 hours. Alright, I'll stop, take my 30-minute break like I'm doing right now. Once that 30-minute break is up, your timer will let you know how much longer you have to drive for that day. So essentially, 11 hours minus 7 is 4 hours, which means I have 4 hours left to drive for the day. Now, I drove 7 hours already. 11 hours out of the day, that's it. Now this is where the 14-hour rule comes into exception. You need to be able to drive to make miles. So if you're on duty doing your pre-trip, checking the air in your tires, like I just got fuel a second ago, getting fuel, anything work related that's not driving, that goes to your on-duty time, and that comes out of the 14 hours. So essentially, let's say I started driving at 6 a.m. this morning. I can only work a 14-hour day. So once I start that timer for the 14 hours, once I start the timer for the day, it starts coming out of the 14-hour time. Now, 14 hours from 6 o'clock a.m. is what? 10 o'clock p.m. By 10 o'clock p.m., I can no longer, I'm out of hours for the day. I can no longer work. Now, I'll get into it even a little more in depth after that. Now that's considered your on-duty time. You can be on-duty driving or on-duty any other facet of trucking that's not driving. The way you save time is by keeping yourself off-duty as much as possible. Let's say you, this is the part that kind of confuses people and gets people messed up. You will have drivers who want to go and spend every single night at a Pilot, Flying J, Love's, TA, Petro, some kind of truck stop. They want to get the hot shower every single night or every single day, and they want to get the nice Subway meal. They want to go to Iron Skillet. They want to go to Country Pride. Nothing wrong with that. Now, let's say you have to drive to a customer, and your company gives you, you know, X amount of time to do it. You drive. You and another person start at the same time. You'll drive for 10 hours, he'll drive for 10 hours. You both stop the first day. You'll both stop at the same place at the same time. The next day, you both drive 10 hours, you both stop at the same place at the same time. Day 3, let's say, you know, you're 20 miles away from the place, and better yet, I'll go back and fix the example. Let's say first day you both bust out 10 hours of driving. Second day, there's a Pilot or Flying J, whatever your preference of truck stop is. There's a Pilot or Flying J 5 minutes from the place that you're going to deliver. What will end up happening is this is how you save time and thus make more money. Driver number 1 says, hey, I'm trying to save time, I'm trying to make money. So let me push that last extra few minutes and get to the customer where I'm supposed to deliver or pick up. What he's going to end up doing is sleeping there, taking his 10-hour break. The other driver is going to stop at the Flying J or Pilot, get his nice hot shower, nice hot meal, you know, living the life, sit back, you know, jaw jack with the other drivers inside the driver's lounge. Both of them have an 8 a.m. appointment. The difference is this driver has to get up, driver number 2 has to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning to make his 8 a.m. appointment. The other driver is already at the appointment. Driver number 2 has to start his 14-hour clock in order to get to the customer. Driver number 1, he's already there. He's put himself on his logbook as sleeper berth customer loading and unloading. It counts towards his 10 hours. So what ends up happening is they both make it there. They're both there for the 8 a.m. appointment. Driver number 2, his 14-hour clock is running. Driver number 1, he hasn't started his clock yet they're both getting loaded. Because driver number 1 decided to drive all the way there and spend the night there. Now, let's say it takes him an hour to load. Driver number 2 has taken an hour to get there and an hour to get loaded. Out of his 14-hour time, he is now down to only 12 hours that he can work. Driver number 1 has not even started his clock yet. So once they both get finished getting loaded at the same time. Alright? Driver number 2 is driven an hour for that day. He can't drive a full 11-hour shift anymore. Driver number 1 can drive his 11-hour shift. They both leave at the exact same time. Driver number 2 is only able to make it 10 hours. Driver number 1 is actually able to make 11 hours, thus putting him an hour ahead of driver number 2. Now, that's just the example I gave. Imagine what happens when you do things like you spend the night at these customers wherever you're going. You're constantly spending nights at them. Not all of them are going to allow you to sleep there, but you spend the night at a majority of them, or whenever you're taking your 10-hour break. What's going to end up happening is that time gap is going to get further and further and further. Not to mention, on top of that, driver number 2 has an appointment at 8 o'clock a.m. I'm going to get there at 8 o'clock a.m. Driver number 1 has an appointment at 8 o'clock a.m. But he says, you know what, I can push it and get it there earlier. So what he's going to do, because companies will leave you a margin of error for your loads. So that's why you'll get out there and you'll be like, oh, I can do this load way faster than this. If you can do it faster than it, do it faster than it. Because what's going to end up happening is you're going to be getting these loads there a day or two ahead of schedule, a day or ahead of schedule, 2 days ahead of schedule, 5 hours. Sometimes it's just a half hour, but all that time adds up to more miles you can drive because your company's going to give you more loads. And once your fleet manager or driver manager, or whatever your company calls it, starts noticing that you can handle your time effectively, you know, save your time, you know, log it the way you do it, but save as much time as you can. Once he notices that you can do that and you're getting your loads on place on time, they'll start double booking you with loads. Then basically meaning like they know that you're going to get a load there in time. They trust your driving ability. And before you know it, you might be a day out from a load, but your fleet manager or driver manager is going to send you another load on top of that, and they're going to start giving you favored and preferred loads. You're going to get a load where the load I'm on right now, I just left home. That's why I haven't dropped a video in a little while. I'm just coming off of home time. Today's day 2 out. This load that I'm on right now, this load is currently a 1,200 mile load. All right, I am ahead of schedule, but I'm still going to keep on driving to get myself there early, because what's going to be happening is they're going to see, oh snap, Gibbs is going to be early. Let's drop him another load, and then I'm early to pick up that next load, and then so on and so forth, saving as much time as you possibly can and doing what you need to do. That's how you get those miles. You stay on the good side of your fleet manager, your driver manager, you're going to get miles. Because you're going to be making loads on time, you're going to be doing them earlier than the schedule, than what's scheduled, and that's how you get better loads and longer distance loads. Now back to the whole time thing. Now, let's say you have 70 hours to work in an 8-day span, all right, rolling 8-day span. Now it is possible to burn through those 70 hours in 5 or 6 days. Then you will get what's called a 34-hour reset, which basically means you'll be in an off-duty status for 34 hours straight. Once you do that, you get your entire 70 hours back. Now, let's say, you know, you're like I did the last time I was out when I was making some of those other videos. You're down on your luck the first 2 weeks. Your truck is breaking down like mine did. I spent a lot of off-duty time. So what's going to be happening is those hours are going to constantly roll over, and you'll never burn through that 70 hours in that 8-day span. And you start running off of what's called recap hours. And the reason it's a rolling 8-day span is 8 days prior, however many hours you were on duty, whether it be driving or any other on-duty status, will fall off. So let's say I worked. I'm on day 7, and I've worked 70 hours, right? On day 8, you should be like, oh my God, he has no more hours. Well, what's going to happen on day 8 is whatever day it was 8 days ago, however many hours I worked, that's what's going to drop off. Let's say I drove 10 hours and I was on duty for 1 hour. So which means 11 hours are going to drop off. So day 8 hits. Now instead of being at 70 hours, it bumps back down to 59 hours worked, and I can work another 11 hours because that 11 fell off from the initial day. So that's how that works. Now, another thing, that's what's called recap hours. Now, the next part is this. Alright, have a few more minutes for the video. The next part is this. Oh, I forgot what I was going to say. So much information I'm trying to drop out. I forgot that quick. Should probably write it down, be a little bit more organized. But all these videos are like right off the top of my head. I'm just making it as I'm going. Now, running those recap hours sometimes can mess with your miles. Sometimes not. Depends on how your week falls, what day you stopped on for your 34-hour reset. Blah blah blah. The company should be good with allowing you to get a 34-hour reset, because after a while you're going to get tired of driving and working all day, every single day. You know, I like to get a 34-hour reset every 2 weeks or so. That's about when I start saying, all right, I need about a day and a half off. Clean the truck, do some laundry, do some grocery shopping, reset myself. But yeah, so let's see. I covered the 70-hour rule, 34-hour reset, 14-hour period of working, and the 11-hour period of working. Now, remember what I was going to say. Now, after that 14 hours is up for the day, realize something. You're not allowed to drive past that 14. If you need to be on duty, you can, but you're not allowed to drive. So let's say you only drove for like 7 hours that day, and then you know, some of these food warehouses, they take forever. I've been to some of these food warehouses between 6, 7, 8 hours. Let's see. All right, you drove for 7 hours that day. You go to a Aldi. Oh my God. Go to an Aldi warehouse. I was there for 8 hours. All right. 7 plus 8 is 15. Now you're saying, oh my God, I'm just an hour over the 14 hour, but you're on duty, which means that you can stay on duty as long as need be. However, you are not allowed to drive until you take a 10-hour reset. A lot of these places will have a spot for you to park and get some rest because they know how they take a long time. So you drive for 7 hours, get there, they take 8 hours to unload you. Yes, you technically still have drive time, but you need to have a 10-hour break because you've exceeded that, you've hit that 14-hour time limit or exceeded it. So you'll drive slowly over to the parking area that they have for the truck or the trucks, and you'll park there and get your 10-hour break and move on from there. That's how that works. So you can be on duty as long as you want, but if you have drive time and you're at your 14-hour bumping it, just realize you can't drive past that time. So any other questions? I know this video is right off the top. To all the new subscribers, thank you. I appreciate your support. Thank you for subscribing. I hope the videos I'm making help you with the decision you're making about Roehl or driving in general. So, and to all the people that come across this video, you know, please like, comment, subscribe. Definitely, I do the best I can to get back with comments. Also, I left my email address in my first video if you have any questions, comments, concerns, gripes, or if you have a video suggestion, something you want me to make a video on, drop an email on it. I'll be glad to look at it, reply, and or drop a comment on the video. But yeah, so the topic of this video was the how to manage your time and how to get better miles by managing your time. 70-hour rule, 14-hour rule, 34-hour reset, 11-hour driving rule. Discuss all that in this video. I know it's kind of all over the place, but like I said, videos off the top of my head. So thank you for your time, and I'll do my best at dropping another video probably in a day or two. Yeah. All right, have a good day, guys.